Hello, hello, hello. We're live. We're live. Okay, just making sure that we got Robyn here. Hello. Hello, beautiful lady. How are you? How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. Yay!
Yay, we did it. We did it. Michelle trained us well, right?
I know. She
We
sure
did
did. She sure.
it. I'm trying to make sure I got my volume up good. Okay.
Yes, I can hear you beautifully. I got one of our shirts
Hi.
on. I got our shirt on.
See, you beat me. I have my global citizen
There
shirt
we
on, so sorry.
Okay, so I think that we are
Look at
completely
that.
live. Yep, we have
I
five.
got some light.
You got some light. I went and I had to move because I was like, there isn't enough light. Like they need to see me. I don't know if they can see me, so I had to move. So I'm excited that we can see each other. That's good. I've
All
turned
right.
the camera up for you. But let's hop into it because our viewers have already started to get on. I'm so excited to be doing this call with you. You know that I love me some Forex. Forex is my thing, man. I love it. It's so amazing how it works. I really think that it's beautiful. I got you. I got you. I got you. I see that you need the shirt. One of the ladies said that they need the shirt. So
She got me. All
I got,
right.
I got you. Um, but yeah, you know how much I love Forex, and I think it's so amazing that that's our topic for tonight. I'm glad that I get to host this call with you, Miss Robyn. I promise y'all, she talks with grace, and she's just amazing, and you can just see the fire and the lioness inside of her. Just wait, just wait. I will tell y'all this. Robyn is an amazing person. She is so selfless with everything that she does. She is the VP of the Boss Lady movement, which is amazing. And I have been watching Robyn for years. So I would tell you to have a pen and paper out because she is here to inspire you and to impress upon you like some really good knowledge. So get your pen out, get your pad, and take notes because that's exactly what I'll be doing.
Thank
Robyn,
you,
you
my
can go ahead
dear.
and take it away.
Oh, I appreciate you so much. You know that. So let me. Okay. This is perfect. All right. So hello, everybody. Welcome to our Thursday Boss Lady Call. These lady bosses are all here. I am so excited to get a chance to talk to you and to share some of the wisdom that I've gathered through the years. I like to call myself the Lady of Wisdom, Truth Seeker, and Truth Whisperer. And so I'm really excited to talk to you ladies and to you gentlemen. I hope there's some guys that are checking us out also. So let's get started. Let's talk about some things. So for those of you that don't know me, my name's Robyn Mancell. I have been self-employed now over 20 years. I started my career out in the telecommunications industry. Left that when I was raising my sons on my own. I needed something different. I needed something that didn't have a ceiling attached to it. So I actually became self-employed while they were very, very little. And I went out in the world. I got my Series 6 and 63 license. I've sold insurance. I'm kind of a serial entrepreneur. You don't have enough time this evening to hear all of the fun things that I've done. But I just knew that I wanted a different way of life. And I knew that if I had to clock in every day, that I was going to miss a lot of important things that had to do with my kids. And I just didn't like that, you know, there's always a ceiling when you are working for other people. Nothing wrong with that. You know, different strokes for different folks. I just knew that I wanted something different. I wanted my time freedom. I wanted to be able to, you know, go to games if that's what I needed to do, and to also be there for them when they came home from school. So I took a major leap of faith and I jumped out and went into the world of the 1099 and went out there where you have to make money on your own. You pretty much have to, if you don't get out there and you don't hunt, you don't eat. And so there is a way to do that. And that's one of the things that I'm going to talk to you guys about today, because I think there is a way to do business in a certain way, so that you can have a long time career. Because a lot of the people who look at our business, they're here because they want to do something different. And most of the time, for me, it was freedom. That's what I wanted more than anything. I wanted my freedom. And so that was really important to me. And I have done everything from owned a restaurant to a ladies fitness center. I was an executive recruiter. I owned my own executive recruiting company. And I did a lot of these things. And then I came into network marketing, and I actually love network marketing. You can't insult me by saying something negative about network marketing, because network marketing is how I actually fed my kids. It's how I fed my kids, and it's how I was able to stay home with them. And so just like anything, you have to be careful. You have to look at, what company that you're getting involved in. Just like in corporate America, companies come, companies go. And so you really do want to do your homework. But more than anything, what you want to do is you want to gain the skills. You want to gain the skills that will give you the ability to be in the industry, whatever that is, 1099, network marketing, self-employed, running your own business. You want to pick up the skills that will help you carry that into longevity. So how did we get here? How did I, get to be part of the lady boss, the boss lady movement? How did I get a chance to do this? And I got a chance to do it because about 2 years ago, Michelle Wilson, our founder here, she actually invited me to a meeting literally down the street from where I live. And she wanted me to come and meet Annette Rayner. And Annette Rayner is one of the owners of Wealth Generators, a company that we're all a part of. And that was where I first got introduced to Forex. I got introduced to Forex on a more professional level. I had seen it, like I think a lot of us have seen it because of social media. I had seen a lot of people talking about it online. I really didn't know what they were talking about. Even though I had my Series 6 and 63 license, I've been in the insurance industry. That's not something that I was familiar with. I didn't know anything about the Forex market. Even though when you are traveling, and I traveled a lot, you are exchanging one currency for another, and you are participating in the foreign exchange market. Who knew? I didn't know. And so from watching a lot of people that I saw online talking about Forex and talking about it, I really didn't know I didn't really understand what they were talking about. I have to be honest, I did not understand it. And I asked some people, what other people were doing, and I just wasn't sure. But then when I met Annette, Michelle introduced me to Annette. Annette said something at that meeting that stuck with me and has stayed with me for those 2 years. And what she said was that everyone needs access to this information. That's what she said. She said, everyone needs access to this information. And what she did is she described when she was in a class, and I believe if she wasn't the only woman in that class, she was maybe one of two, and she was learning how to become a trader. And Annette is actually a swing trader. I know that from some calls that I've had, with her. So I understand all that. Well, anyway, when she said that, it got my attention, because being in the financial industry, when I was in insurance, and we sold insurance, we sold mutual funds, annuities, I never heard of that. And I never heard of it before. So anytime someone says to me, hey, there's something you need to know that is making a lot of people wealthy, right away my ears perk up. Okay, so tell me more. I'm the kind of person that if you know something, I want to know how you know it. And Annette, of course, is a very reliable source. So when she said that, I took attention to what she was saying. And so what I've been doing over the last couple of years, and my method is a little different than a lot of people, is that I've actually been studying. And when I study something, I actually study it from its inception. I go all the way back to studying. And a lot of people have asked me that have hit me up in my inbox and said, can you guide me along the way and tell me how I can learn more about the industry? Now, the funny thing about that is that Wealth Generators has set up a subscription service where you can actually learn about X through their market experts. And they have everything there. Everything is right there for you. And I think a lot of times we forget that we have that. There's so much powerful information. And that's really where I got started. I got started going back, looking at the information, and I would go over it, because a lot of times if you don't understand it, what do? You go over it again and again until you get it right. And so I just immersed myself, not so much in the trading, because we actually have products and services where they will actually do that for you. Now, that being the case, even though they will do that, I want to be able to speak intelligently about it. And I think that's one of the things that, if you're really interested in this business, it's really important, or this investment, I should say, if you're really interested, you want to do your homework. You really want to understand how the market works. You want to understand how the market moves. You want to understand some key things about it. And so, the first thing that we learned is that it is the largest market in the world, with over $5 trillion being traded a day. That's a big deal. And so you want to know the numbers. Very important. You don't have to be an expert at this, but if you are out talking to people and you want to impress upon them the value that there is in the Forex market, it's very important that you understand what exactly goes on in the Forex market, because there's so many people that are putting information out there that is, I want to say, embellish a little. To use a nice word, I want to say they're embellishing. And what I mean by that, it doesn't mean that you cannot make a lot of money in the Forex market, but there's some key things that you need to know about it, because it is investing. Anytime you invest in something, there is going to be a certain amount of risk, and people need to understand that. But here's the thing about Forex. I've heard so many people say to me, oh, I'm not interested in that because I hear that it's really, really risky. Well, the thing about that is that you have the ability to set your risk. And that is whether you decide to learn to be a Forex trader yourself, whether you decide that you want to do it on your own, or whether you decide to use one of the tools that we have in Wealth Generators that can actually do the work for you. And I like to call that earn while you learn. You may decide to earn while you're learning. And because we don't know what your learning curve is, who knows the time that you have available to do that. So when I say earn while you learn, it means that you can take advantage of the market while you are learning. Now, when you get through a process of learning, you may decide that I really don't want to be a trader. I'm not interested in being a trader at all. But the great thing about it is that you were able to start earning money in the market by using the tools that we have. We have several tools: Multiplier, the FX Accelerator, the Simplifier. Whoever invited you here on this call, you can talk to them and they can give you some information. And I just think that there is a very smart and professional way to do the business. And it is the best opportunity, in my opinion, that I have seen. And the reason I say that is because typically when people get involved in a company, they have to, it's almost like the only way that you're going to eat is if you go out and you bring tons of people into the business. Nothing wrong with that. I have absolutely zero anything wrong with that. But when we talk about the Forex market, what is great about the model that Wealth Generators has put up is that you can actually be making money whether you have a single person come into the company or not. And I mean that, come into it as a business, because one size does not fit all. That's my opinion of that. One size does not fit all. And all I'm going to do today is just kind of give you a different way to do the business, because when you're talking to people, I look at when I'm talking to people that I'm building relationships. I'm building relationships with people, and I'm going to do what's best for them. I'm not going to do what's best for me. I'm going to do what's best for them. And then that will keep them, continuing to believe and listen to you when you have some information for them, if you do business in that way. But at the same time, you got to do what works well for you. But we should always be thinking about the person that we are speaking to, because you want to find out what is it that is important to them. What is it that they're looking to do? And so I like to talk about earn while you learn. And I also like to talk about one size does not fit all, because I think that's very, very important. I'm more of a consultative type of kind of a consultative. We're not financial advisors, everybody knows that, but we do give people access to information that can help them do better financially. So we like to provide a financial education to people. So we can start you from the find, and then from the keep, learn how to keep your money, and then grow. And so you want to give people options. I'm very big on giving people options and letting them know what we have available, and then actually putting them in the slot that works best for them. That way you can have longevity, you can build a nice relationship with them, and they're going to feel real comfortable about talking to other people about what you do. So what is so great, I think there's so much power in the Forex market, because it is a market where you can make some really great returns. But more than that, the Forex market, in my opinion, is the great equalizer. It is the great equalizer, because it doesn't matter if you have a college education. It doesn't matter if you have good credit. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter your religion, your political preference. It doesn't matter whether you're male or whether you're female. And we have seen how the markets are typically, they are mainly male in the market. But here in the Forex market, they don't care. They really don't care. All the Forex market cares about is whether or not you know how to enter and exit a trade effectively. That's it. And again, if you feel like that's not something that you feel comfortable doing, then you can always use one of the tools. So I think it's really, really important that we look at the model that we bring to the table when we're talking to people, and we don't get caught up in a lot of the one thing about social media, having lived without social media, and now I live in social media, in my opinion, you have to be very, very careful how you bring yourself and bring your products to the market, because you have to really feel like this is what we bring. You kind of put your blinders on, and you understand that you are bringing people something that has tremendous value. So you're not operating in the competitive mode, you're operating in the mode of value. This is what we bring to the table, and their value. So what I think people really need to do is they need to understand the value of what it is that we have here. And so I have something that I've been kind of sharing with people. I don't know if you guys can see that. Yeah, there you go. So it's my Hidden Figures Know Your Numbers. I think it's very, very important that people know the numbers when they're talking to people about the Forex market. Because a lot of people will say things to you like, well, how quick can I make that kind of money? And, and how much, and why is there a fee for that monthly? Here's the thing. If you've paid attention to other markets and you're able to give them a really good comparison based on you understanding how the numbers work, then you're going to do a much better presentation to people, because you understand how the numbers work. And one of the things I find that a lot of people miss out on, they miss out on how to present how the numbers in Forex work. Now remember, anytime you're using, say, like a calculator, that's just a projection. You cannot guarantee anything. Nothing is guaranteed, period. Nothing is guaranteed in life. We all know that. But when you are using the compounding calculator, you are using that to show people this is an example of past performance, but past performance does not guarantee future performance. You are giving them in a lot of cases, the worst case scenario. So what I did is I put together, you guys can see this here, and if you can't, don't worry about it, I'll get it to you. But what I did is I put together some numbers so that you could actually show people what based on their situation, you could show them what they could expect, right? But they also have to know, and in investing, of course, you can make money and you can lose money. But the key point that a lot of people fail to let people know is that if you set your risk management based on how much money you can afford to lose, then you won't have that problem, because you're going to already be setting and making a decision based on numbers, which are so critical that people know that. Because if you have numbers, you have a plan. And if you are paying attention to what's going on, and you can do this even while you don't really understand or you're not a trader. And I just think that that's really important that people do that, because even though you may decide that you don't want to learn how to trade, and we have great information back there, it's a good idea that you understand how the market works, because how will you understand what's going on if you don't even understand what's going on in the Forex market? It means that you're kind of gambling if you don't really understand what's going on. And we know that you really don't want it to be gambling. So let me give you guys some numbers while I got you here. So let's say, for example, in what most people you're going to run into that are looking at retirement are doing is they probably are putting their money into a 401k or some type of investment. And let's say they put $1,000 down, and see if you guys can see this. They put $1,000 down. Can you see that? All right. So let's say they put $1,000 down and they put in $500 a month at 7% interest over a 30-year period. You see that number right there? And you guys can put that into the calculator. You can go to investor.gov. There is a compounding interest calculator there. And that way you can check my figures, because it's a real good idea to not just trust what I'm telling you. Also, you want to check those figures. So let's go over that again. So you're going to go in there and you're going to put in the calculator. This is my first example. You're going to put in $1,000 is the initial amount that you're putting in. Then you're going to put in recurring $500 a month at 7% for 30 years. And an annual, how do you want the interest? We're just going to put annual in there. And the amount that you come up with is $574,376.97. That is going to show you at a 7%. Okay. And it depends on what they have this invested in, but this is 7% for the year. Okay. Now, those of you that are working with us here in Wealth Generators, you know that in the Forex market, you can see some returns that are, a lot more than 7% for the whole year. In some instances, we've seen 7% for the month. But what we want to do is we want to take the worst case scenario. We're going to take the worst case scenario, even though we have seen, not just in our Forex product, but also in the equities product, we have seen returns larger than 25% for the year. But what you want to do is you want to get people to thinking about how the numbers work. And it's really important that you understand how the numbers work. Otherwise, you're just quoting things a lot of times that you've seen other people post, and you're posting it because you saw them post it. And I think it's a good idea if you know how to put the numbers in the calculator yourself and you understand what those numbers mean. Because that way, when you're talking to someone, you can say to them, well, you give me your situation. Tell me how much you are comfortable with putting away monthly, and let's do a projection on that. Let's do a worst case scenario and do that, and let's give you some numbers. Now, if you're talking to someone and you're giving them those figures and they say anything like, oh, a year, that's too long, and okay, you really have to find out what their objection is. You might want to ask them, if they say, oh, that's too long a year, then you'd say, well, explain to me right now where you have your money currently that you are getting that type of return, and you are able to, and you're only sitting it there for a short period of time. You want to set the right expectations with them, is what I'm getting at. You want them to understand this is not some get rich quick. This is not what this is. And I think that some people mistake that because they've never seen those type of returns before. So you want to set the right expectations. People are Googling information, which, if that's where you're getting your information from, that's not really a legitimate source, in my opinion. I feel the same way about that with reviews. Like, you guys have seen reviews, when people give reviews on Yelp and things. Here's the thing about that. I typically get my information from people who are experts in that particular industry, because what social media has done is given everybody a voice. Everybody's got a voice, whether that voice is valid or not. People feel that it is valid to literally just spew information that is not necessarily always true. So it's a good idea that you get your information from reliable sources. And that is what's great about the 4 owners that we have in Wealth Generators, is that they have been in the industry over 20 years apiece. So we have people that have actually been working in the industry and they know how it works. So at the same time, you should have an obligation to yourself to also learn and study and make sure you understand. So now you're going to take that same amount of numbers that I gave you guys, but we're going to use 25%. All right, see the numbers right there? But you're going to do it for 15 years. Now, the reason I'm doing different years is because 30 years is typically going to work for someone who is maybe in their 20s or 30s. If they're looking at retirement, if they're doing this for retirement, 30 years is going to work for them. Well, that's not going to work for me. It doesn't work for most people, I'm going to say, that are 45 and older. You know, maybe we changed jobs, maybe we've had some issues with our retirement, maybe we've lost money. 30 years is not something that that I'm looking at doing. But young people typically, a lot of times, are looking at building their retirement, and they don't mind 30 years. So that's why it's important that you guys know what numbers are important to those people. So let's go over this. If we took the same amount, $1,000, we put $500 a month in that at 25% with 15 years, look at the return here. 686,000. You guys see that? For 15 years, it's 686,000. Now, what is the difference? This is at 7%, this is at 25%, this is at 30 years, and this is at 15 years. That's a big difference, right? It's made more money in a shorter period of time, okay? And then if you go, I did 2 more examples for you. I did 10 years, which is 208,000. Now look at the difference between you leaving it there an extra 5 years, what happens there. And that's why you want to play around with the calculator. You want to play around with the calculator so that you can show people the numbers. Then you go here at 7 years, 25%, 7 years. Now that's the same comparison here. The only difference is that they got 30 years, this is 7 years, and this is at 95,000. Okay, now again, remember, we were conservative in this because we don't want to, we would rather under promise and you know, end up over delivering the information to people, right? We don't want to tell people and that they're going to have these huge returns when it's possible that they could, but you want to make sure that you are setting the right expectations for people. And that's why I think it's really important that people understand how to present numbers to people. Numbers don't lie. Numbers do not lie. People lie. Numbers don't. And so it's very important that you talk to people so that you can understand, so that you can actually set the guidelines for what it is that they want to do. Because I guarantee you, each person, every investor has a different goal in mind. And all that we're doing, you guys, is we're just the guide. What we're doing is we're pointing them in the direction of what it is that they're looking for. We are not giving them advice. We're not giving them advice. We are showing them how there are tools and information and education that can help them get what they want. That's what we're doing. We're leaders. We're warriors of wisdom and information that we are helping people get, and we're helping them get access to it. And that's really why it's so important that you treat each person individually. Instead of treating them and lumping them all into the same thing, we have a really, really good opportunity to help people and to conquer, you know, help people conquer a number of issues with their money. And so we can present that to him. We can be the providers of that information to show people how they can live a better life, how they can have options. And I'm really big about people having options in their life. And I think that's what we do better than anything, is show people in a professional way. Let's do things a little bit different, right? Let's show people where we actually understand the numbers and we understand how those numbers work. I think people will be very, very impressed with us if we're able to say that and we're able to show them why it makes sense. And that's something that, like I said, I think that we can't do enough of to people, to let them know that. So that's all I have for you guys tonight, is to really understand and know the numbers. I was inspired by the movie. Some of you heard me talk about this, Hidden Figures. The reason I was inspired by that is because in the movie, literally one wrong, the numbers are calculated the wrong way. He could have blew up in space if the numbers were off, if they were just off. One little bit could have just blew the whole space program, right? And could have cost Glenn his life. And so I think it's very important that we look at numbers more seriously than we have, that we talk to people and show them that we can provide them with professional, educated information about how they can actually change their lives. And then they'll look at it and they'll understand that it's a lot more than, fluff. They won't think that that's what we're talking to people about. So anyway, I want to thank you guys for getting on the call. I want to thank Tamika for, opening it up for me. And we are looking forward at helping you bring out those numbers and show people how they can live a better life. So thank you guys for joining us on our Boss Lady call. Thanks.
Have a good night.
Bye, Tamika.
Bye, my love. You all have a wonderful night. We love having you guys on. Invite more people, come out and support and learn more about everything that we offer.